Welcome back, friends. In this video we're going to learn about left joints. So remember, previously we learned about inner joints, and we understood that those take only the records that, for example, have a matching order ID between both tables. And also keep in mind, friends, that even though I use small tables to illustrate these concepts, they apply also obviously when the tables are huge. Same logic. So let's take a look here. On the left, we have a table. We've got John, Anna, Mary. On the right side, we have another table. And we see when we look at the two tables that the order ID can be used to join them. Right, they both have an order ID column. That's what I mean. Let's take a look here. If we were to join them, imagine I take the table from the right side and I kind of move it and I place it over the table on the left side. So when I do that, look at the table number 2 here in the middle. So the order ID matches for records 1 and 2. So now John and Anna, those two records, you can imagine become a single record that you can display in your grid results. But Mary, as you see, doesn't have a matching record on the right side. Because that is so, that tells us something, which is this. A left joint will take that information from Mary, which right now, as you can see, where it says table 2 right here, where my mouse is moving across. See, to the right of it, there's nothing, right? It just says the order ID 3 and then nothing. So a left joint allows this, but then it just sticks in null values as illustrated right here at this stage, you see? So you've got Mary, ID 3. The order's IDs are matched at 3, but to the right of it, we stick in nothing. We put in null values, missing values. All right, I hope you've got that. So one more time, remember, you've got two tables, one on the left, one on the right. Even though the one on the left has an extra order ID number 3, you can still match them. Like for John and Anna, you see those two records essentially become a single record for John, a single record for Anna, but Mary's info is missing in the table on the right side. So that means the left joint simply sticks in null values there. All right, so that's the underlying concept here. Let's take a look at this in SSMS. Let me open it up. I'm going to use the same small tables, but again, do keep in mind that even if you had huge ones, it doesn't matter. The logic is the same. All right, so over here, I'm going to type the following here. I will say select, and then from, and I'm going to take care of the joining first. I'm going to also show you where you can alias so that things are easier to handle and there's less code to type. That's a useful feature. So over here, I'm going to type customers, and I'm going to type here as C. So I'm aliasing the customers table with the letter C, so I don't have to keep typing customers. And then I'm going to type this keyword left join. So before we had, of course, as you know, the inner join, now we have the left join. And then I'm going to say orders. And again, I'm going to alias orders, so I don't have to keep typing it. So I'll just type as O. And as in the previous examples, we're going to type on and then C. And remember that C represents the customers table. I'm going to say C dot and then order ID. Remember, the order ID is a field in the customers table. So I can do that. And where that is equal to, then I will say O dot order ID. And again, remember as we type this that the from will execute. Then theoretically speaking, the on runs next. That gives you a new table. Once you have that in place, then you can manipulate it with everything else that we have learned. All right, so let's take a look here. So this is doing the left join. And here, remember this basic fact that we have C as the alias for customers, and we have O as the alias for orders. so you can make use of them. Take a look. I'm going to say the following. I'll say c.customer name, like that. So before, remember, you would have had to type customers $symbol dot customer name. Typing C, as long as we know what C alias is much easier, obviously. Then I will type O.order ID. And again, instead of having to type orders $symbol dot order ID, I can just type O.order ID. Easier. Next, I'm going to say O.item. Keep something in mind. Take a look here. What if I remove the O on the item? If you go back to the orders table, you will see the item field in there. And because it exists and only in that table, you don't have to do really anything. You can just literally type item, and it can be found in the correct table already because it exists in only one. All right, so I wanted to point that out also. And the same thing, of course, with the quantity field. That's it. And that is our whole query. So our whole join here. So remember, from, then on. After that, let's take a look. I'm going to add some additional items here in a second. So let me run this. Select everything and just give it a run, execute, and it looks as shown here. Now, I'm going to ask you a question to check whether you're understanding everything. You see this extra record with Bob Jones? That wasn't an original data. I added it since the last lesson. So I want you to tell me, Bob Jones, which table is it present in? Is it coming from the customers table or is it coming from the orders table? So pause the video and answer. All right, and I hope you've answered that it's coming from the customers table, correct? Remember that when we did this, it says customers as C left join orders. So this is our customers table here. Bob Jones, I've added that as a record to the customers table, but it's not a record, as you can see, inside the orders table because next to it we have null, null, and null. So what this is confirming is that even if the orders table doesn't have a record with an ID that matches an ID inside the customers table, we can still join them this way. And the left join will just put in null values. That's it. And remember, as before, let's take a look here. We can do different things. So remember, we can do a where as an example. We can do an order by and so on. I'm going to just do an order by. Order by. We can do group by. We can do all of those things that we've done before. Keep that in mind, okay? So I'm going to say here order by quantity. And I'm going to leave it this way. Remember, the default sort order is ascending from lowest to highest. All right, give that a go. And I wanted to do that because, as you can see, the null is showing up first this time in the quantity column. Look at it carefully. The next question might be, we have so much stuff written here. Which is the expensive part of the query? Pause the video and how would you find that out given this code? All right, I hope you've answered that we just enabled the execution plan, right? So leave this highlighted up here. Click on the include actual execution plan. Right, hit execute. Now we've got that. So actual execution plan, then hit execute. And look at the execution plan. And when you look at this, what do you see here? Well, we've got the table scans. Remember, these tables that we are using, the customer table and the orders table, do not have any indexes set on them. In real life, obviously, you would have indexes set, right, to expedite things. So in this particular case, what stands out immediately is that the sort is the most expensive thing. You've got the table scan and the other table scan, but the sort is 63%. So remove this quantity here for a second and run it without it. That's how you learn, right? You compare. Look at the execution plan. And again, as you can see, the table scans are pretty expensive this time, right? 48% to 51%. But as you can see, as soon as you have the order by, you're sorting things. All right, take a look, 63% for that now. So that becomes very expensive suddenly. So sorting is a kind of expensive operation, keep that in mind. All right, friends, I'm going to leave it here. Please be sure to type this. And the only thing I want to emphasize again is from runs first, then on runs next after that. In our particular example, select, and then after that, order by. If you had a where, well, that's a good question. If I added a where here, how would I modify my list? Okay, thank you so much, friends, and I'll see you in the next one.